What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Battle of Central Europe Season 3. This is going to be a continuation of the best of two we have going between Denial Esports and Power Rangers. Currently, Power Rangers 1-0 up in this series, and hopefully for Denial they can pull it back, but it remains to be seen, of course. This is going to be on HeflaTV Hitbox 1. We're going to be bringing you the rest of the games. Still have a hell of a lot more games to go today, guys, so we're in for a full day of Denial Esports. I'm Mike Loris. I got Grandis here as well. And, man, hopefully, the only thing I want for this game is fewer pauses.
Yeah, I hope that Shatchlo is able to get his PC in order so that we can actually proceed according to schedule. We do have another game, another best of two series coming up after this with Denial Esports before they finish up their series that was at the start of the day. So yeah, hopefully everything gets quickly through. But as for this game, we're going to start the draft out with Brewmaster, Lycan, Razor, and Viper being taken out of the pool, and a Tidehunter first pick by Power Rangers.
This is going to leave Ogre Magi in the pool. Doesn't really seem like the most Denial-ish type of hero, and they have been first picking the IO in the games that we have seen for them. So maybe that's going to be the pick right here, although, I don't know, the IO seemed okay in the last game as it did previously. It doesn't seem like it had first pick material kind of impact though, but it seems like Denial are just going to stay the course. They are now going to pick the IO three games in a row. And well, first we saw Gyrocopter, then we saw Sven, but this game is going to be the same exact opening as we saw in the last.
Power Rangers, I don't really expect them to go for anything different either. With Tidehunter already on the pool, Witch Doctor seems that it'll be their choice. I don't think there's really any reason that they change it. Unless they have something different in mind for the dire side of the map. But other than that, it looks like both teams are just going to go with the exact same draft that we saw in game number one, and there you go. No big surprises there. If it's not broken, don't fix it. I don't think these four heroes were really the ones that changed the game much. They all seemed to perform their job. Although they weren't very flashy, they did it decently.
Right, and so if we have the same exact draft, Power Rangers are going to win again for sure, but Viper not in the pool, and well, this time, maybe Power Rangers is going to take a little bit more care in banning out some IO partners, but it seemed like they had it more or less under control in the last game. The problem with Sven is that he's very kiteable, and we saw that in the last. Gyrocopter, now Necrophos, going to be kicked out from Power Rangers, whereas Ancient Apparition, he's going to be banned out, so Denial finally have a game where they have IO not up against an AA. Don't really know if it was too relevant last game. It didn't seem like it was, but regardless, it is a decent enough counter. Maybe they are going to go for a little bit more healing now that Ancient Apparition is out.
Yeah, it definitely could be an option. Even though the Ancient Apparition didn't have the greatest apparent impact, it was still a good support for them. So, I don't know. I think it's worthy of the ban, even if it didn't have any huge ultimates that led to some crazy team fights. I don't think the Denial are going to go for the same IO partner that we saw last game. The Sven, although he was good, it just seems that he gets kited a little too easily for them. Although this game, they're not going to be up against the Viper, I think it's safe to assume that we're not going to see him in this third pick slot at the very least. I expect them to go for their other support, and with what's left in the pool, I think Ogre Magi is the best.
And they're going to actually ban out a Clinks, which is kind of weird since I don't know if I've ever seen a Clinks being banned out before. It's certainly a viable hero, but only in very certain situations, and even if Clinks was to be picked up by Power Rangers, as unlikely as that may be, it is still going up against the Puck, and Puck is pretty damn good against the hero. Denial, are they really just going to go for the same exact route again? I mean, Nature's Prophet IO is a devastating combination, but they need something better than a Sven, I think. It just has to be a little bit more of a high-quality hero. Again, maybe go for the standard Tiny, and that could work out a little bit better for them. So far, I don't understand quite the Clinks ban, but this game is actually going to be like the exact same thing. So we already saw game one, guys. Game two is going to be a repeat. Do-over.
I suppose so. We're not going to see the Viper, and I expect Sven to be replaced by something else. But I mean, if Denial want to go for it, it's there, and they can pick it up. I don't know. At this point in the draft, they are eating through most of their picking time, which is peculiar to me. They're going to go for the Phantom Assassin this time around. PA, as far as Wisp partners, doesn't come online as instantly as other ones do, just with levels, but if Phantom Assassin gets a lucky crit, you definitely can burst down targets incredibly quickly, and with the extra overcharge attack speed as well as with that blink strike attack speed, it's definitely possible.
It's also just a lot easier to stick on your targets than a Sven because you do have both Dagger and Phantom Strike. And even though you may be messing with an Ember Spirit who does have many ways of getting out from under that PA, killing off a Witch Doctor is pretty easy. Killing off a Tidehunter a little bit more difficult, but still very much so possible. So Phantom Assassin, I like it here for a denial. I think it's not the strongest IO partner, but certainly it's going to be much better than the Sven, I think, especially after what we saw last game. So they're going to be playing the same exact type of style. Bringing a Phantom Assassin into those fights with Relocate isn't going to be as flashy for the first half-ish of the game, but if you get her in there for a little bit of golds, a little bit of kill stealing, then it could work out very well for them. Power Rangers, well, they can't go for a Viper. Razor is also out of the pool, so they need a little bit more lockdown in their lanes. We do once again see Scarith Mage being, for the most part, completely ignored. Ogre Magi still available to them. Maybe they just want to take that one up. Bloodlust Ember Spirit is nothing too impressive, but at the same time, you don't really want to give denial both Bloodlust and IO for the Phantom Assassin.
What I'd like to see for Power Rangers is a Magnus pick for them. It would fit decently well in the middle lane, and although Bloodlust Ember Spirit isn't that scary, Empowered Ember Spirit is. With the extra 50% damage and 50% cleave, you're pretty much handing him a free Battle Fury and then some.
And if it's a part of his core build to begin with, then hey, more Battle Furies equals more fun. And when you're dealing with Phantom Assassin, getting cleave is a great way of trying to get around her blur. Ember Spirits don't really like to pick up Monkey King bars because, well, it doesn't really help them out the most directly, as Daedalus is usually a little more preferable. But, I mean, if you're cleaving enough, you don't have to actually hit Phantom Assassin. You'll just cleave onto her, and then maybe you'll get kills that way. So I do like the mag pickup from the Power Rangers. Maybe they're going to wait for the last pick to get that. I think maybe they want to take a support right now, seeing as though Denial are with one support right now. Power Rangers, they have their pick before Denial have any sort of interference, and it's going to be the Shaker, so Denial can't get the exact same draft.
Yeah, I don't know. Shaker's still a really solid support. I'm still kind of holding out for the Magnus, but with the Earthshaker already, it might get a little bit crowded with just so many melee heroes. Even though Ember Spirit and Mag are fairly mobile when it comes to melee heroes, the Fissure still can get in the way and be annoying for them, and they might decide against it. As far as the ban, Death Prophet somehow managed to get her way towards the 5th banning cell. I didn't even notice that. I just expect her to be banned, honestly. But apparently she was in the pool, so Denial Esports are going to take that away.
It's one of those heroes that you just automatically assume is going to be banned out, and then sometimes it just sneaks its way through. I guess with Viper taking higher priority, with Lycan taking rather high priority as well, she finds herself now out of the game. So, I mean, we could shuffle the ban order around a little bit and it'll all make sense, but in the end we will land on something that does make sense. ET is going to be also banned out by Power Rangers, and it's going to be a Dazzle for Denial. So, well, this game, it looks like they do have kind of similarly defensive heroes from Denial, but they're pretty much all in on this Phantom Assassin. Their supports do little to no damage.
Yeah, they really do, and that's going to be oh my goodness, I actually can't think right now. But yeah, Dazzle IO, they're not going to be the most aggressive of roaming duos, but keeping the Phantom Assassin alive and making sure that she's able to get that damage out might work for Denial Esports. But as we saw last game, if they shut down this PA, she's going to be completely useless. For Power Rangers, it's going to be a Morphling last pick, and with the lack of lockdown coming out from the Denial side, I definitely can understand this. And even if Ember Spirit gets controlled up, it's unlikely that they're going to have enough to keep both Ditchira and Statchlo on the ground.
Yeah, especially when you have to get through their HP pools through a Tidehunter, through Witch Doctor, and through Earthshaker Stunning. Power Rangers have a lot more lockdown, they have a lot of mobility, and this Dazzle pickup, I mean, I'm okay with Dazzle, I'm perfectly fine with Io. I feel like the two of them together, though, it's just way too defensive. Like, they have no choice other than to go as a tri-lane in the safe lane, and Power Rangers, Shaker, Morphling, Witch Doctor is capable of punishing that, or throw a Tidehunter in there or something like that. I don't know, Power Rangers just have, I feel like, a lot stronger heroes in general, and they actually can go aggressive. Whereas for Denial, their game plan should just be turtle up and use split push and a late game Phantom Assassin to win the game. Even if it does get to that late game scenario, it's only Phantom Assassin to do damage, whereas Power Rangers have an Ember Spirit and Morphling, and she can't even win in that scenario unless she's very, very lucky. So I very much so favor Power Rangers just off of the draft.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. To introduce the players and the heroes that they're playing on, for the Dire side, we're going to have Power Rangers with Ditchira playing on the Morphling. Our supporting duo is going to be Suniko of Lapida on the Witch Doctor with an Earthshaker played by J4. Middle lane is going to be Shatchelo playing on the Ember Spirit, leaving last but not least Cheshire Cat to make a return performance on the Tidehunter.
with the same exact double ring build. Hopefully he has a better start than last, and he's going to be going up against what looks like just a Puck right now, as Puck is going to be played by Joral. Fucking Mad is going to be playing the Dazzle, supporting, joined by Cryo J on the IO mid lane. Well, currently sitting there, it's going to be Paris on the Phantom Assassin, at least Funzy as the Nature's Prophet. Maybe we are going to be seeing dual lanes for Denial. Phantom Assassin definitely doesn't need the help, but Cryo J, I mean, IO can't really do anything anywhere else, so I guess you should stick around and try to secure the lane and also get a couple of pulls going. Didn't really see that many last game. Maybe this game is going to be a little bit different, but even if it is, they don't have cleave or anything like that inherently to clear those stacks, so it's going to be a little bit slower for Denial.
Definitely. Although, even if the IO is chilling and stacking, the Phantom Assassin even solo versus the Ember Spirit should have a decent time there. And with any harass that CryoJ is able to put into the Ember, it's pretty much going to secure that middle lane for Denial. Top is a completely different story. I expect this Nature's Prophet to get little to nothing out of it. But actually bottom, for now, it's J4, who's going to be sitting with the Tidehunters, so potentially a dual lane, although this is a very peculiar one at that.
I don't know if I've ever seen a dual lane of Earthshaker Tidehunter before. It's double melee, and up against double range, you're already at a disadvantage, so even if Joral is just left here all by himself, J4 won't really be able to do too much versus this Puck. In a fist fight, Puck is going to come away with the victory almost every single time, and it does look like it's going to be a pure dual lane on the bottom lane for Power Rangers. Joral's going to have such a free time. Fucking Mad doesn't even have to be here, and they'll win the lane.
Yeah, and that's pretty fair. The Tidehunter is going to have the Ancients to fall back on, but I expect J4 to make himself scarce in this bottom lane. He drops a block for the Tidehunter, which might help a little bit, but he's going to accomplish nothing. It looks like he is going to eventually head up towards top, maybe protecting the Ember Spirit a little bit in mid. But the kill potential, even though Phantom Assassin is going to be farming well in this lane, is very limited, especially until level 6 comes out. So it looks like Earthshaker is just going to make him some stacks for himself, maybe secures a rune, but for the most part, J4 is not going to find much out of this map.
Even if he goes to the top lane, there's no kill potential there from the Nature's Prophet, and Power Rangers can get kills, and maybe the Earthshaker is best suited up there, but right now it's just going to be chilling over towards mid. It is going to be a dual lane for Denial in mid with the IO-PA combination, and well, IO is already starting to stack up a couple of camps. No clearing of the trees, so the double stacking is not going to come out just yet, but Cheshire Cat's the real loser of this scenario. I mean, he's left now versus two ranged heroes. He's not going to get anything, but at the same time, Funzy isn't either. He has actually nothing, Funzy, right now, and if he gets a little bit too close, then a wave form in with the cask is very quickly going to be his doom, and he has the jungle to work with, but he doesn't really want to go into the jungle first thing, and holy crap, these pauses are really starting to get to me.
They really are. This time it's Denial to pause, but effing Mad is going to give the good to go, and eventually we're going to get back into this game. We're in for a fairly passive one, and honestly, I think that favors PR, even though a late-game Phantom Assassin is scary. Well, hold that thought, it's the Fissure in mid. It's going to be the IO losing her life, or its life, I should say. I didn't expect IO to find itself in such an awkward position, but there you go. A very squishy hero, 0 armor, and just getting caught up by the Fissure and chains. That was enough to secure the kill.
Yeah, the Flame Guard was burning on that IO for quite a long time, and not a tanky hero by any stretch, IO, especially with the Fissure and chains. You can't really go anywhere, so J4 going to land not only 1, but now 2 very nice stuns. That's going to secure his team 2 kills. Funzy has no chance of getting out of here, so he's going to very slowly be beaten down up on top lane. That's going to be 2 casualties now. In the meantime, Cheshire Cat fighting up against Joral. Looks like he's going to be just fine after putting some damage on fucking Mad, but Power Rangers, we said that their Shaker wasn't really going to be having many opportunities. I think top lane, that's a very easy way of making an impact, but mid lane, like, that contribution is kind of rare, and we don't really see Earthshaker making those kills happen all the time.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't think it should have happened. The IO just is in an awkward spot, and you don't expect the Earthshaker to be there, really, so I don't think you fault CryoJ very much for that, but it's still going to be an advantage for them. Shatchel is going to eat some harass from these Wisp Orbs, with the Flame Guard up. Shatchel is doing just fine in this mid lane, 12-1 compared to 19-7, although in a vacuum with just those 2 heroes would be poor. It's up against a dual lane, and he's also getting the last hit for that 1 kill that they've been involved in, so he has his bottle as well as boots now.
And on top lane, the Nature's Prophet has completely abandoned the lane because, well, quite frankly, he can't really do too much up there, even if he wanted to. So it's going to be Ditchira on the Morph lane getting absolute free farm. The Ember Spirit's going to have a decent amount of farm as well. Tidehunter now with Tranquils can start stacking in his own jungle, although it looks like no one's actually doing that just yet. The Shaker might start shortly, so Cheshire Cat is going to have ways of getting back into this game. It's kind of the same thing that we saw last. He's going to try to go for fucking mad, but he's going to get hit with the Poison Touch. Now here comes Cryo J. There are Satyrs here, which is going to actually help out Cheshire Cat quite a bit in doing some damage to the enemies. The Wisp Balls are going to, for the most part, miss, and Tidehunter will walk away. But, I mean, he has Tranquil Boots. He's okay with doing this. As long as he slips out with, you know, his life, then he'll be able to get back to full HP in no time.
Yeah, for now, Cheshire Cat is going to be, I don't know, just chilling. He thinks about going all the way back to base, but eventually makes his way back towards the lane, or at least angles towards it. He'll be able to get some experience. The Ancients haven't been stacked up yet for him, so this time to just impact is going to be delayed a little bit, but he already has level 4, which is a lot more than what Funzy's been able to find at this game. Losing his life once, and in the jungle only managed to find level 2.
Alright, so Denial, we said that they were going to play very passively. What can they actually do in order to start things on their own terms? Because it doesn't seem like they have many tools in order to fight early on.
No, it doesn't. I think their best hope is to wait until they have level 6 on the IO and Blink Dagger for the puck, but by then it might be too late. The Ember Spirit, however, in mid, going to get caught out by the Poison Touch as well as just the slows going after the Phantom Assassin. They'll be able to give him the rundown. Only level 5 for the Ember Spirit. Without any remnants, he is a decently easy kill, even with these quote-unquote passive heroes.
Right, so maybe just picking off Ember Spirit here and there is going to be their best course of action, although once Ember hits his level 6, there's no way he's going to die in that scenario. I don't think those kills are going to be very easy for Denial to take in the future, but you know, taking 1 or 2 here and there, not going to really hurt Power Rangers that much, especially since their Morphling has a very quick Midas. It is 5 minutes and he has that, although I think he got it closer to 4-ish minutes, like 4:30 or something like that, so Ditchira in a 1 versus 0 lane is doing pretty well for himself up there. And Power Rangers, I mean, they can, in theory, make a lot more action happen than Denial. Because they do have such a farm, don't hold on, Shachel's going to get critted in the mid lane. Chase down, Fissure is going to save him at 8 HP. That's poor man's shield value right there. Ember Spirit is going to get away with his life. However, he's still sticking around. He wants to be greedy, and he wants to find the 6-minute rune. Luckily for him, he's not going to run into anyone, so he is guaranteed a rune right now, but either way, Power Rangers, if they take this super late, they'll have a Morphling with a Hand of Midas, and he's going to be fine.
Yeah, Shechel is going to survive. They also give a little bit of experience towards J4 with that, but very clutch Fissure is going to save his mid-hero's life. The IO does have his bottle running, and as well as level 4, but J4, they're looking to go aggressive onto him. And their way towards the Phantom Assassin is going to keep him safe for now, and the Fissure, although it lands on both, isn't close enough in order to get any kills. Shechel will be able to make a clean TP out. His Denial, they only have a Dream Coil to cancel TPs.
As we said before, very, very stun light is the Denial side, so Morphling and Ember are going to be very difficult heroes for Denial to lock down, let alone burst down, and maybe crits on the Phantom Assassin can make the difference there. If you get a lucky crit or 2 in a row after a Phantom Strike being overcharged up, it is certainly very possible that you kill off a hero before they have time to react, although it is kind of unlikely. Cheshire Cat is going to be hit with a Poison Touch, but this is only a level 1 skill, and level 1 Poison Touch kind of sucks, but here comes Funzy with a little bit of body blocking. Maybe they can get this Tidehunter. Not enough body blocking, though, and this Tide, now with the bottle delivery, is going to be just fine. He does prompt a TP from the Witch Doctor. It will be cancelled, but Cheshire Cat has a Ravage, and now Power Rangers, if they really wanted to, they could look for kills down in this bottom lane. They're going to need more than the Tidehunter, but Ravage, 7 minutes into the game, is one of the deadliest skills in the game.
Yeah, maybe not enough for killing the puck unless they set up with another disable first. But either way, they could kill this Tidehunter's lane, or if Tidehunter has a TP, which he will have enough gold for soon, he can make his way towards another lane and look for kills there. It's a very scary tool in PR's arsenal now.
Well, Cheshire Cat is still on the bottom lane, taking a little bit of damage here and there. It's going to be Ditchira that's completely ignored, and Denial, I mean, as good as the late game Phantom Assassin is, she's not farming as fast as the Morphling. She doesn't have a Hand of Midas to accelerate her farm or anything like that, and I mean, she does have an IO to back her up, so I guess you could kind of compare them, but she's going to be at an inherent gold disadvantage this entire time. Denial have to make some sort of play in order to pressure this Morphling, whether it's actually killing off the Morphling or pressuring other lanes to force the Morphling to fight. They have to do something. Sitting back is just not going to be benefiting them, although Ember Spirit, well, he got roughed up pretty badly. I think he was fighting creeps, and I think he almost lost.
Almost. He's going to survive on very low HP. Not the best farming hero, especially since you have no phase boots or no battle fury. That's really when you can start effectively clearing out those creep camps. He does drop it low, but low doesn't count enough. Shechel is going to be just fine. Yeah, it looks like Power Rangers are going to be fine with the status quo in this game just by passive gold. They're not getting a huge lead, but it just seems that the items and the heroes that they have are innately strong. So when you have like just a null game and eventually Morphling's going to get a lot, that's really scary, and they're going to be completely fine with that. Io is still only level 4.5, no relocate available, and Puck, although he's getting really close to Blink Dagger, doesn't have it yet, and that's really going to be our first tool that Denial have at their disposal to try to put some pressure to PR, and they'll definitely need to get a lot of value out of it. So let's see how Jarrell is going to be able to do that.
Last game, the Puck picking up a Blink Dagger was pretty influential. Like, they cleaned up 3 heroes in the mid lane very quickly once that item came up. I don't think they can expect that to happen this game, since Power Rangers are not grouped up at all, really. So, I mean, the best that Puck can hope for is 2 people in the coil, and that seems as well pretty unlikely. So, though it will be their best chances in opening, if Power Rangers just keep split up and, keep with their teleportation scrolls up and everything like that, then the Puck is not going to have that many great opportunities. We do see rotation from Cheshire Cat going towards the mid lane. Has that Ravage, and he wants to use it. Power Rangers, they have quite a few heroes in the area. Slotchlow needs a full health restore, though. He's going to get back to the base. Then he's going to return in a hurry. There is no Echo Slam on the Shaker, and, well, wraparound from the Tide is going to be completely spotted. So, unfortunately, nothing is going to happen here for Power Rangers, but they don't invest anything either. So, actually, they invest quite a lot of time for their heroes, and they're not doing anything right now. And Puck now with a Blink Dagger can make a defense if Power Rangers really want to fight in the mid lane.
Let's see, Phantom Assassin going to go strong into J4, getting the crit. She's dropping him low, but with little backup as well as Witch Doctor ultimate, it might be enough to save him. They don't have the crit on the dagger, but Lose Orb will clean up the Earthshaker. Zanika making a clean TP out. Will he be able to make it out alive? He will. Stunned inside the base by the Dream Coil, and that's Shatchlow. The only one remaining is going to be slowed down by a Stifling Dagger, although he has a Remnant, so he should be completely fine as well. All said and done, it's just the Earthshaker dying in mid.
That's a perfectly acceptable loss for Power Rangers as well. I mean, it's a Shaker. He's level 4. Who really cares? I mean, even though the Puck gets a kill, showing off the Blink Dagger, that was Coil and Blink Dagger used for not that much, only a Shaker kill. They're going to try to go for Ditchy up towards top. Strength Morph is going to make that near impossible. However, it will defend the tower. The Morphling doesn't have a replicate. Hell, he doesn't even have his ultimate leveled up, so this tower is going to be denied now. It's a little bit of gold denied to the Power Rangers, but they have a hand of Midas on the Morphling. They have enough gold income. They don't have to worry about that too much. It's finally Denial doing something around the map, but it's only one Earthshaker and a tower deny as the change, and I don't really know if that's going to be enough. Paris is clearing out his stacks with the help of fucking Mad, but here comes Slotchlow. Has a guard to put up and chains as well. He's going to steal 1 troll. That's it, so 30 gold, I guess. That's nice for him.
Yeah, it was a fairly interesting move by the Ember Spirit. Doesn't really mean much of anything. Clear up 1 medium camp as well, but still, this game, it seems to be running at a snail's pace. Neither team really wants to take these engagements. Puck Dreamcool, however, cooling off in about 1 second now, will have an opening potentially for Denial if they're able to catch anybody out of position. Yeah, this Ember Spirit, he isn't farming very well, and that's kind of to be expected, and he hasn't been involved in that many kills, but there's always the potential that Ember Spirit's able to get that farm eventually and become a huge impact as far as physical damage is concerned. But even now, just with the maxed out Flame Guard as well as the 2 points in Searing Change, that's enough to get kills, especially on the supports.
Yeah, but right now, Power Rangers, they're not going to look for those kills just yet. It's going to be Paris slowly becoming the most dangerous hero on the Denial side, and by slowly, I mean very, very slowly. Killing off Slotch, though, is going to be near impossible unless you get very lucky crits. And with 2 heroes down the bottom lane, Power Rangers, they looked like they were going to try to go for something, but I don't know if Ravage and Shaker is going to be enough. Maybe if they get really close to Funzy, they could kill him off, but getting really close to a Nature's Prophet is going to be pretty difficult, especially with Dazzle behind him. So this is going to be a super passive game, which is not exactly great for our scheduling problems, but maybe Morphling teleporting down to the bottom lane is going to be just the thing that Power Rangers needed to make something happen. A Waveform is going to add quite a bit of burst damage to this stun combo, and Morphling is completely spotted out, so no one should die here. So wasted TP from Morphling, but maybe they have just enough to kill off the tower anyway.
It's already down to less than 500 HP, so Indeed, maybe they do. They have a glyph to delay this push, and that might be enough. They'll clean up the creep wave, and Power Rangers aren't even going to commit to this. They want to go back to farming the enemy jungle and farming their lanes. Witch Doctor is getting a little bit of space up top in the meantime. And Sneeko, again, he is going for that Orb of Venom build that we saw earlier on. This time it wasn't put to as good a use as in game number 1, since Nature's Prophet went to the jungle a lot faster. But now Ditchira in mid. They might be able to find an opening onto this Phantom Assassin, but still, the initiation tools aren't available for them yet. No Blink Dagger, and really unless they find long chains, but the crits on the Ditchira, it's enough with the Dream Coil as well as the Illuser Orb. And my goodness, that Morphling just exploded. I expected him to live through that, but wasn't even able to get off the waveform.
I think he got like double critted in a row, but in the meantime, sidelines, Cryo J locked down by the chain. Sacho not quite enough to finish the kill, is going to be forced to TP out. But Jaral, jumping in with the maxed out silence, going to do quite a bit versus the Morphling, and having 1 or 2 crits in a row certainly very helpful for Denial as well. So they're going to get a kill on the Morphling, which is a much needed kill as well. They might even take this tower down in addition to that. Nature's Prophet going to come into 3 points in the call. Fortification is there. Power Rangers with all the tools except no mana for a Ravage, so now they can make a defense, but can they actually get in there fast enough? Morphling is going to teleport right in. This tower is going to be held. And Denial, they can't go for any more. Outside of a Blink Silence on the puck, killing off Morphling is not going to happen. So they can't actually get anything else, and it's, at the end of the day, just a single kill going the way of Denial.
It's an important kill at that, but still Morphling at the top of the net worth chart is going to be working presumably towards Mantis Cell as his next item. If he doesn't have to worry about the silence from the puck, I don't think there actually is a way that they can kill Ditchira unless they get insanely lucky with the crits or Phantom Assassin as a basher. And for now, PA's build is going to involve a Battle Fury for himself, which is going to be really nice in order to accelerate the farm, but is it going to be enough to carry this game? I'm not sure. I think it's going to give her some much needed damage in the meantime. But I think just going for BKB and trying to fight might have been better.
I mean, Denial, like, kind of want to take it late, but they kind of don't up against the Morphling Hand of Midas. So I think the Battle Fury is kind of a good middle ground. I think the longer they wait the Battle Fury on the Battle Fury for the Phantom Assassin, the better. Maybe one more item after the battle, or the longer they wait for the BKB, the better. If they wait for one more item after the Battle Fury, like Battle Fury +1, then BKB is probably going to be ideal for Denial. That's going to be the sweet spot where Phantom Assassin is going to be one of the most terrifying heroes in the map with the 10-second BKB charge. Her impact is going to be amplified by that much more. But I don't know. I mean, both sides are perfectly happy with the farm that they're getting right now. Obviously, Slacho will like a little bit more, but he's going to do complete drums 16 minutes into the game. Hasn't really been doing too much, especially when you compare him to the puck, but I mean, Power Rangers don't really need this Ember Spirit to get that much because they're still working with a very foreign Morphling and a Ravage. Now they're going to jump forward on the bottom lane. Cheshire Cat has an opportunity for a 2-man Ravage. He will just instead decide to beat down Funzy, then try to go for Fucking Mad. Relocate in. It's going to be Paris and Cryo J both, but Ditchira is right on top of the IO now. Coil very nicely placed onto Cheshire Cat, but he still has a Ravage, and everyone just has to back off because of it. Now the Coil backs off. Paris is going to try to go for the supports in the meantime, but he will not be able to take those kills. In the meantime, Fissure is going to slow him down. Slacho is returning, chaining onto Jor-El with the Ravage now finally being popped. Will only be killing off the Phantom Assassin, but also everyone else from Denial is going to be chased down by Slacho and Ditchira in the meantime, and they just get completely cleaned up. Power Rangers don't even lose that much HP.
Yeah, sometimes the threat of Ravage is better than actually using it. They mop up 4 enemy heroes, including the enemy Phantom Assassin, get the tower, and some much-needed golden experience for the supports. Beforehand, the Earthshaker as well as the Witch Doctor were absolutely dirt poor, but now you have that boots upgrade for the Earthshaker, which is really good for him, and Witch Doctor can work towards some bigger and better things on top of it. It's going to be a team fight win after the longest of times where we haven't seen any action at like 3 and 2. It's going to be 4 clean kills going the way of Power Rangers. So now they can go back to farming their side of the map. But down in bottom, effing Mad, caught out by Shashlo, who's currently hasted up. He's going to get critted by the Phantom Assassin, however, and forced to round it up towards the north. He isn't going to kill off Dazzle. Now Fissure dropped by the Earthshaker. Doesn't really accomplish much. Shashlo, without mana, to run it away, he's going to be the one to fall. Just bit off more than he could chew.
He had 140 something mana, and you need 150 in order to get out of there. So Sacho, with a slight mana miscalculation, ends up going down there. If he had a split second more time with the bottle, he would have been home free. And well, when you have a haste rune and you're an Ember Spirit, you usually feel pretty comfortable about escaping those situations, but not to be the case. So Nico is going to get coiled over towards the top river area. Relocate in is going to do literally nothing, and Morphling is also going to replicate his way out. So Relocate in from the IO has been relatively uninspiring so far. I mean, he brought Phantom Assassin down to the bottom lane just to get her killed. He's relocated up towards top lane to do nothing. the IO-PA combination, it works pretty well later in the game, but when you're looking towards this mid-game phase and you want a hero who's really explosive, someone like a Tiny or a God Strength Sven, Phantom Assassin just doesn't quite have it since she is inherently RNG based.
Yeah, if you're lucky, you can get the kills, and we've seen that as well, but yeah, I think this IO is more useful just to make sure that Phantom Assassin can constantly find farm. Earthshaker now looking for a TP out. He'll be able to make it. There's no Dream Coil available for the puck, and that Poison Touch, even if it connected, takes way too long to stun in order to cancel those TPs. It's a reliable way for Power Rangers to keep themselves safe.
Alright, so Power Rangers are going to just be playing slippery as well they should for the remainder of the game. We also saw in the bottom lane fight, Treasure Cat showing off his Blink Dagger for the first time, and that's something that Denial really have to respect. A Blink Ravage, well, it's going to not start this fight as Paris is going to be the one to jump in first. Lands a crit onto Treasure Cat, but between Kraken Shell and the previously landed Anchor Smash, he's going to be able to shrug that one off very easily and then get juiced up to full. So Denial, I mean, they have to be so careful about their positioning now. Still, they don't have to worry about a J4 Echo Slam with the Blink, but I mean, that's going to come eventually, and Ravage is more dangerous, I would say, than an Echo Slam for a good portion of this game. And smoke around, they're going to try to initiate onto the mid lane, but Paris is going to make the jump first, and Shlacho Chain's going to slow down the PA, and Shlacho's going to get some very quick help from his team. Blink Ravage, going to connect onto Paris and Cryo J. Cryo J is going to fall in an instant. Here comes Zichira, going to go straight for fucking Mad. Paris is going to blink out, but he's not going to be able to make an escape. Echo Slam is going to kill him off. Fucking Mad now is going to get chained down to the floor, and he's going to be beaten down by Shishkat for another kill. That's a 3-for-0 in favor of Power Rangers. Puck off to the north is going to make his escape, but Power Rangers using the Ravage to get a couple of kills here and there is pretty much exactly what they want to do, and they get a tower deny down towards bottom. Denial seems like they're just working with 0 damage heroes, as no one was doing the damage there except for Phantom Assassin, and that's the weakness in their draft, low damage.
Yeah, Puck might have considered going for a Dagon with that Null Talisman, but instead is going to go for a Scythe, and honestly this game they just need anything they can get. Denial, that's 2 fights in a row that they've just flat out lost, and in a pretty convincing fashion for Power Rangers, going to get a 3-0 this time around. And Morphling, as well as the Ember Spirit, survived through it. Ember Spirit hasn't been farming that well, and he only has the phase drums to his name. But Cheslow's going to get that Battle Fury or whatever soon enough as Drowl up top. Phase Shift will dodge the Anchor Smash with a very close blink away, but the chains will connect, and although he gets the silence up before he dies, he will in the end. Another pickoff going the way of Power Rangers, unanswered by Denial, and there's not really anything they can do.
Now they have an Orchid on Funzy, so maybe they could actually start taking these fights since they have a little bit of something to maybe shut down the Power Ranger heroes a little bit more. Very slippery. You got to lock them down somehow. Orchid not the best, but hey, it's what they have right now. Power Rangers, they don't even have a Ravage right now, but they have a freaking Mystic Staff on the Tidehunter. So Shiva's Guard incoming, I'm pretty sure, for the hero, and he's not going to be going for a Refresher Orb yet. I'm sure after Shiva's Guard, Refresher Orb is going to be looking pretty good. As long as Power Rangers do have that Ravage up, they will be able to make these pushes happen. They now have a Manta Style completed on the Morphling, so they don't even have to fully commit to the pushes. They just have to send a couple of illusions here and there. And, well, top lane, Shacho is going to be jumped, silenced up, Orchid showing its value finally. It's going to be Denial getting a nice pickoff onto Power Rangers, but, I mean, they've been losing big team fights. Getting these pickoffs, as nice as it is, isn't quite going to be enough.
Yeah, Digiraw has gone full agility down in bottom, so he is very squishy, and if they ganked him with the Orchid, then he would have been in a lot of trouble, but he should be fine, as he now knows that the Orchid is up for the Nature's Prophet. Tidehunter eats a crit in mid, but he'll be able to walk away from that. Now, PR close to Roshan Pit, although it's just going to be able to secure themselves a regeneration rune for the Tide. Still, Morphling is pretty much going to be impossible for them to deal with, and in the end they will decide to go into the Roche Pit. It's not the fastest of Roshans, but it's fairly secure since the enemy team doesn't want to fight into it. You're fighting into the Roche Pit with Ravage as well as a Death Ward, not to mention the Blink Echo, or just the Echo Sam, no Blink on J4.
I don't even think Denial know about this, so, I mean, even if they did know about this, they wouldn't want to go in and fight. It's going to be Power Rangers sneaking Roshan, and, well, Denial don't really have a response for it. They take a tier 1 tower up on top lane, which is, I suppose, very nice for them. It's going to mean that split pushing down the line for Nature's Prophet is going to be a little bit easier, but this is an Aegis on Ditchira, and he can now afford to sit, you know, at very low amounts of HP, like 796, 800 HP for Morphling is a little bit on the lower end. There we go, that's a little bit better. But even if he does go down once, it's going to be very slow for Denial, and then once he pops back up again, he's going to be strength morphing all the while, so killing him off twice is near impossible for Denial unless they kill off everyone else beforehand, and that's probably even more difficult than straight up killing Morphling twice. So this Power Rangers Aegis, they now have a Ravage to complement it and a Shiva's Guard incoming as well. It should be a tier 2 push incoming from Power Rangers soon enough, just to get value out of the Aegis.
This is the second game in a row that we've seen from both of these teams, and again, both of them lack a lot of ward vision. Just now, the Dazzle has been able to place a couple out, but during that Roshan attempt, there was only one ward out from both teams, which is quite honestly surprising. Dire still are fairly limited in the vision. They have one ward deep into enemy lines, but that's not really going to accomplish much, except for knowing when Phantom Assassin is farming a large camp.
Well, I suppose if you're going to be grouped up as 5 all the time, you don't really need to know where the enemies are coming from. They see enemies down on bottom lane, they're going to potentially go in that direction, but wait for a rune first. Only a bounty for the Morphling, so that's kind of a bummer for him, but either way, it is still going to be Power Rangers for the most part moving as a group. Orchid onto Morphling. They have a chain silence if they really want to go for him, and he can't get the strength morph out. He will lose his Aegis without getting a single spell cast off. Honestly, don't really know what the Morphling was doing there. I mean, he literally saw everyone from Denial in that area, but he walked forward in that direction anyway. Seemed kind of foolish from Dichira, and he ends up paying the price for it.
Yeah, he didn't have his Manta Style available, and had he had that, maybe he would have survived. But still, it is going to be the Aegis given away for pretty much nothing. They'll be able to continue this push even without it, but it does seem like pretty much a waste. Tidehunter is replicated up, and Morphling will have that tether on the map as Cheshire Cat's making a move on the enemy side of that river. They found a Nature's Prophet. Will they be able to cancel the TP? With the Paralyzing Cast from low ground, they will, and Witch Doctor will secure that one. Nature's Prophet found himself in the wrong neighborhood, and they'll be able to bring him down.
Next time that happens, he will have a Blink Dagger, so a little bit of a better chance for the Nature's Prophet to escape, but again, even if you blink away from the Ember Spirit, he will have another Spirit, and even 2 if he really wants to, chase you down, and it's unlikely that you're going to escape. Though Shacho doesn't really have a great way to cancel TPs if he's Orchided, if he's silenced by the Orchid, let's say, it makes a little more sense, then he will always have allies to back him up. Now Morphling, he's going to pick up an Eagle Song. I hope this is going to be a shotgun, because the shotgun targets on Denial are awfully tasty. Pretty much anyone. And I mean, Dazzle has a shallow grave, but you have to be really quick on your fingers in order to save someone from a shotgun blast.
Yeah. Phantom Assassin now has a tool to survive up against that in the Black King bar, and beforehand she would have been the ideal target for it. But now with that item, Paris is going to keep himself safe, but the Wisp, if you're able to take away that extra damage that the Phantom Assassin is getting from that excuse me, extra attack speed as well as the survivability from overcharge, that can be pretty huge inside the team fights. And the Wisp, with only 834 HP, is going to die in a single combination, almost 100%, unless Morphling is very heavily invested into strength.
Well, Power Rangers might want to wait for that item. It doesn't take too long. In fact, fucking mad. He's going to be jumped upon by Dichira first of all. He's going to slip away, but Power Rangers still have a Ravage. They've been sitting on it for quite a long time. They also now have a Blink Dagger on Earthshaker. Again, they don't really have to go for these pushes because they have a Morphling with Hand of Midas, and they have Shotshot who's finally getting some items up. Although Ember Spirit with these items, not exactly a threatening hero. Going for mostly purely defensive items. The Ghost Scepter, kind of weird to see, but I mean, either way, Power Rangers have the Blink Dagger initiating power. They can go for things if they want to. Shotshot, I think he's going for a Battle Fury now, and maybe he just got a Ghost Scepter for a little bit of safety.
I suppose so. It's a pretty decent item up against the Phantom Assassin to keep yourself alive. I don't agree with it, but it's not the worst of items to get casually. You get some decent stats out of it, but going for drums as well as Ghost Scepter, I think is a little bit questionable. I don't know. I'm definitely on the fence about it. It's going to delay Ember Spirit working into some real damage items.
Well, I guess you don't really need your Ember Spirit to do a truckload of damage when your Morphling is doing a truckload of damage. Like, Power Rangers have a lot of damage throughout their team fight ultimates as well. Like, all 3 of their, I guess, supporting cast, and the Witch Doctor, Death Ward, almost Aghanim, will do a crap ton. Earthshaker, only level 1 Echo Slam, but if you landed on 2 or 3 people, it could do a lot of damage as well, not to mention the Ravage. So they have enough damage for sure, and they don't really need the Ember Spirit to go for more damage, but I would say it's a little bit more useful than a Ghost Scepter at this point. Regardless, what's done is done. Maybe we're going to see double shotgun for Power Rangers. That'll be the day.
I mean, it would give him a decent amount of agility, but yeah, shotgun on Ember Spirit really isn't a thing. But speaking of shotguns, we now have one finished up on the Morphling. He does send that out to himself, and oh, that Dazzle is in a really precarious situation. And now he knows it. If Dazzle sticks around too long, effing Mad might be at the receiving end of that combination, but I doubt it, at least for now. Dichira is going to keep that one inside his inventory, but in the push down and bottom, if they're able to get a fight here, they should be able to win it. I don't think Denial are really going to wholeheartedly contest, if contest at all, this tier 2 tower.
Well, Power Rangers are working with a lot of teamfight ultimates right now. Morphling is going to get himself down to the bottom lane in a hurry. In the meantime, Denial are going to try to race them up on the top lane. They do have a sheep stick on Puck, so they have more and more tools at dealing with this Morphling as time progresses, but Power Rangers, they don't have to teleport back for this. They are going to regardless, or at least just the Tidehunter. We saw what happened last time Cheshire Cat decided to do this. They have ShotShell here and here as well, but he instantly gets hexed and brought down. Cheshire Cat's silence needs to get this Ravage off, and he can do it now, but it won't land on anyone. He gets it off, landing onto actually only Dural, and the Death Ward is being channeled in the back end. However, Tidehunter does take a fall shortly after. Ichiral is going to unleash a shotgun to Paris, not quite going to be lethal. And now he's going to get jumped upon by Paris and Funzy, both. Dichira taking so much damage. It looks like the Morphling is going to be going down here, even throughout the all-strength morphing. J4 also going to get hit with the Sprout, and he's going to take a fall shortly after as well. A hugely messed up fight by Power Rangers. They really poorly sequenced who goes in and when they go in, and Denial take a huge team fight.
Although they didn't know it, they TP'd right on top of a Puck with that Hex, instantly getting off on the Ember Spirit. And although he dies for that, Denial just find such a huge teamfight win since PR effectively going one by one and just aren't able to get their spells off. Ravage being almost completely whiffed, and now with the Treants, they're going to be able to put some high ground pressure up. Nobody on PR has buybacks, and although they might not be able to get barracks, they should be able to get tier 3s, relocate inside the enemy base onto poor Sunico as he gets crit down. My goodness, this is going to be Denial after the longest time of not really seeing any action. Just a straight up win for them. They're the ones to pressure high ground first.
That's extremely surprising, and Power Rangers don't have any of their big teamfight ultimates anymore. Cheshire Cat's going to jump in along with ShotShell. This time they get the initiation, and it's going to be on to Paris. Phantom Assassin going to blink strike out with a BKB. Shallow Grave not going to die for a little bit longer. The TP out looks like nothing's going to teleport to interrupt the teleport, and the PA gets out alive, and Dazzle, he's the one to fall. CryoJ is going to also be able to walk his way back home. But yeah, just a really poor fight from Power Rangers. I mean, first of all, as you said, jumping into a Puck with a brand new Hex that was hidden to Power Rangers in more ways than one since the Puck was invisible, but also getting a lot of damage applied to their tier 3 tower. And that is not the fight that you could reliably expect from Power Rangers. Like, with the power level of their heroes right now, if they land any sort of ultimates on anyone, they should be able to make quite a bit happen. But taking a 5-on-5 is certainly going to be a different scenario than what we just saw. As you said, it's going to be a series of 1 versus 1 fights, or 1v4s, 1v3s for Power Rangers, and that's not exactly how you want to play this game. So they're still in a decent position, even after that lost fight. They still have a very farmed Morphling. They still have a Tidehunter who's holding on to quite a lot of net worth as well, but it's just concerning seeing them make plays like that.
Yeah. Paris now, since he survived in the last fight, is going to have a Basher as well as a Helm Dominator completed. He's going to be stacking up some Ancients for himself with the Dark Troll Summoner as well, accelerating his farm even more. So this Phantom Assassin, she's going to hit critical mass fairly soon, and if they get another fight to go their way like that, I doubt the PR are going to be able to hold high ground. They do this time, and their 2-3 tower doesn't fall either, but at 270 health, if the fight occurs up in top lane, Denial will be able to take it. Even though their heroes aren't the greatest, pushing outside the Nature's Prophet, it doesn't really matter if you're able to win a fight that convincingly.
And we'll see if they can replicate that. If they can, then well, Denial are certainly going to be taking a very substantial lead in this game, but for right now, the game is pretty much even. In fact, net worth is almost exactly at 0, if not exactly there. Experience is 3,000 in favor of Power Rangers. That's not really going to be too relevant moving forward either. So in Power Rangers, they just have to make sure to avoid situations like that, and they will be just fine to continue on this game. But now they're up against a Phantom Assassin who actually can get away with dueling the Morphling. It will still not be the easiest of scenarios, as Morphling does have quite a bit of burst damage.
Oh, Sunico.
Yeah, okay. He was there for a second, I think.
Not even. Like, Blink Strike in, gets the crit, and that's Witch Doctor down. They even bring in the Nature's Prophet with the Orchid, but yeah, that's pretty much all you have to say. Oh, Sunico. Just pushing out bottom alone, and that's not a place you can be as a Witch Doctor.
Hey, at least he has his Aghanim Scepter completed, and if he is not jumped on immediately by the Phantom Assassin, there aren't that many tools for Denial to interrupt a fully channeled Death Ward. That's Aghanim, so he kind of got the job done in the bottom lane. Even though he did go down, his objective by the Aghanim Scepter, and I guess you can only say mission accomplished as far as that is concerned. So the big team fight ultimates Power Rangers going to get even a little bit bigger moving forward, and now it's going to be Cryo J jumped on by the Morphling and the Tidehunter. Shotgun is going to finish him off. Now onto Paris. He does have a BKB, so killing off this PA is going to be incredibly difficult, if not outright impossible, with the BKB TP. She will escape, but in the meantime, top lane, oh, they have to defend that one, and it's going to be Cheshire Cat to jump straight into a Hex. Funzy's going to start wailing into him as well. This Tidehunter going to get denied a Ravage first of all. Already uses Shivas, still taking quite a bit of damage. Now Sprouted Up really wants to use the Ravage, but at the same time, he really doesn't. And he's going to be put into a pen, and he will not get anyone. However, Satchel's going to catch Funzy on the south end. Fissure's going to interrupt this TP, and Nature's Prophet is going to be the one to fall, with Morphling somehow taking that. How the hell? Oh, Adaptive Strike. Okay, I didn't even see that animation, but Morphling takes the kill, and Denial lead a couple heroes.
Yeah. But still, the Phantom Assassin survives, and PA is going to get dangerously close to her next big item. Should be Abyssal Blade for Paris. So I suppose it's not the end of the world for them, but you can't do that too many more times, especially with the Nature's Prophet dying. Wisp is more or less expendable as soon as he relocates somebody into the fight, but yeah, it's a freebie for Power Rangers that really didn't need to go their way. And it's also going to give the Morphling enough gold to comfortably buy an Ultimate Orb towards his next major item, presumably Scotty, and now they're going to go into the Roshan pit. They still have the Ravage, since Cheshire Cat wasn't forced to get that off, and now, with the Gush, as well as just everybody right-clicking the Voodoo Restoration to sustain, they'll be able to take a Roshan. But in the meantime, their top lane's being pushed by the rest of Denial. They're going to glyph this one up, but at the very least, they're losing a tier 3 tower and might even lose more. They're focusing down the melee barracks, and they need to get back home. They don't have a Wisp to relocate, and since they've committed, they have to stay here. Right now, the Earthshaker jumps back in, gets the Fissure off onto Gerald, but now jumping from the Tidehunter. He doesn't get off a Ravage either. It's a tier 3 tower for Roshan, which I suppose is okay for Power Rangers, but that's very risky. Let's see if they're going to be able to get anybody on the retreat. Puck is very elusive, and with the Blink of Illusion Orb, he will make himself scarce. The Shechel can't keep up.
I don't think that's too terrible for Power Rangers. If Denial took down a range Rax, that definitely wouldn't have been in their favor. But now they have a Morphling with a double life, and he has a lot more HP now than previously. So with the Aegis, he won't be very easy to bring down at all from Denial. And though they can push up top lane a little bit easier with the split push of a Nature's Prophet, it will be very unlikely that he himself will be able to actually do anything. Whereas for Power Rangers, they have all their ultimates up, so now it's going to be their turn to strike back. The question is where, and it looks like top lane is going to be the answer to said question, as it's going to be a straight tier 2 tower push, and with all their teamfight ultimates at their disposal, and with no real split push to worry about coming out from Denial, I think Power Rangers should be able to take the tower here, although Gerald's not going to make it easy for them. He's going to cut the creep wave, and Power Rangers still have a pretty good one to work with, and the rest of Denial don't really have that much clearing, so even though there's only one creep wave to work with here, it should be just enough.
And now with the double Ravage available for Cheshire Cat, this is so scary for Denial to fight up into. And right now, Power Rangers, they're getting close to their peak. Morphling still has plenty of item slots, and they still have plenty of room to grow. But at this point in the game, they're the ones that should be able to win the fight. Even if the Phantom Assassin's able to assassinate, well, hold that thought as Drow jumps in for a double Drinko as well as double silence, but he's taking more damage than he bargained for. The crits coming out from Paris are going to be enough, and now eating into Cheshire Cat, he's going to Abyssal him down. Witch Doctor and Tidehunter hit the deck as the Aya is going to be the only casualty. Ethereal Blade Blast into the puck is enough to kill him off straight up, and now Shashul jumped in by the Phantom Assassin. There's an Echo Slam to kill off fucking Mad, but now they're going to be able to proc the Aegis, but that's about it. J4 cleaned up, and now Phantom Assassin, the only one left is Ditchy and he'll survive because of his replicate in the mid lane, but he's the only survivor, and he even lost the Aegis.
So Tidehunter had 2 Ravages to use there, ended up getting 0 out just because he was constantly silenced, and he had a couple of moments where he could have gotten a Ravage out to connect on 2, but decided to hold on to them, which I guess is going to be nice for Power Rangers' next fight, but man, no Ravages out, no Death Ward out at all from the Witch Doctor. Like, he was the first one to fall. He started the fight by getting silenced by the Orchid of the Nature's Prophet, so he couldn't get a single spell cast out either. Power Rangers, once again, just get slowly eaten up just because, I mean, they get silenced too long. If they had a BKB, anything like that, they could have been able to stand and fight for just a little while longer, maybe turn things around with double Ravage. And if you land a double Ravage, usually you're going to be winning the fight, but if you land 0 Ravages, the Tidehunter is an underwhelming hero, so Denial, they once again somehow take a very nice fight. But because no ultimates were used for Power Rangers, pushing up high ground is going to be very unlikely for them. It's still going to be even more gold in their pockets, and maybe next time it's not going to go the exact same way, but I don't know. If it happened already like twice now for Denial, and Power Rangers, they just seem to have a couple of issues making their team fights stick together.
Yeah, for sure. Phantom Assassin, however, in that last fight, they were able to isolate pretty much everybody from PR, and now with the smoke, they're looking for even more pick-off potential. There's some treants that have been pulled back as well, but they're going to make their jump on the Ditchiraw. Scythe up, silenced up, Abyssal down. He's going to be brought down as well with the crit and Abyssal just to make sure he can't do anything. Now silence on the Sneeko, going to end his ultimate, and the crit will end his life. Chatchlow trying to remnant back. He's now going to be focused down. They do get up a Ravage as well as the Ghost Scepter to save their Ember Spirit, but is it enough to get any kills? The Shallow Grave onto Funzy. Second Ravage going to come out. It lands onto Paris, but Paris isn't being focused. He will eat an Anchor Smash, which delays a little bit of his damage. Cheshire Cat not taking too much. Now looking for any crits or any bashes of the sword. They dagger him down, Dream Coil, and he's going to fall. Earthshaker dies up in the top of the fight. The only survivor is Ember Spirit back in his base, and only just now they drop low on pretty much everybody, but everybody survives.
2 Ravages used and you get 0 kills off of that. Like, that is just so weird to see. If Tidehunter pulled the second Ravage a little bit faster, then he could have killed off the Nature's Prophet at the very least, but Puck came in at the perfect time, and now they're going to jump for Ditchiraw one more time, killing off the Morphling to start the fights. Not quite going to happen. 60 HP, the Morphling survives, turns around, kills off the Puck, but it actually will replicate forward into the fight, but it's going to be Shotch, though, who's in the sticky situation right now. He will jump out twice, but Abyssal, he can't leave. And he bought back for that one, I'm pretty sure. Actually, no, he didn't, but he doesn't have buyback to use right now. And mid lane's in full breach. Morphling and Witch Doctor, the only ones available. But Paris is still alive. If he sees anyone, he's going to jump straight in on them. And, well, Denial, they've just taken Raxes. And that's not only going to be one set. I think they could also slide up to the top lane and take a second. And they will go there right away. They don't have their pucks, so I mean, there's no Blink Sheep or anything like that, but they don't even need that. They're just going to start in the melee Raxes, taking some ranged Rax damage at the same exact time. J4, well, he's going to throw out a Fissure, shotgun onto Paris, and an Echo Slam as well. Paris is still going to live, still has a Satanic. He just needs a couple more hits, but he will go down even through the BKB, and the Death Ward is going to kill out Cryo J shortly after. Fucking Mad has got to run. Funzy trying to man fight up against the Morphling will not win that fight, and Power Rangers, they're going to strike back and trying to take a full 5-man team wipe. Fucking Mad doesn't have a TP out of here, so really I don't see him escaping this one. Morphling should be able to hunt him down unless Fucking Mad with the sickest of jukes is going to be home free. And it looks like, yeah, he will in fact make his escape. They don't lose their Dazzle, but they lose everyone else. They take a set of Raxes, and Power Rangers, I don't think they could actually get anything else off of this one. So, I mean, just botching a couple of team fights, even 2 in a row, and suddenly Power Rangers are Rax down, not looking too good in this game, despite the fact that their Morphling is still farmed. Phantom Assassin is now on the top of the charts.
Yeah. Without the puck, there's hardly any way that they can cancel a Witch Doctor ultimate, and that just did so much damage. Even with the BKB on the Phantom Assassin, it actually didn't matter. She was dropped down very fast and locked down in place, couldn't do anything. And now they're going to bring in Ditchiraw into the middle lane. They'll bring down a tier 2 tower, and I think this is about all that they can get comfortably. But it's something for Power Rangers, and when you're Rax behind, you'll take anything you can get.
They have 1 Ravage available, which is usually enough to help you take a decent fight. Then maybe they're going to look for a little bit more. There's no buybacks that are going to be spent right now from Denial, so are they really just going to try to straight push this? It's incredibly risky, but I think they might be able to do it if Power Rangers actually land their ultimates this time, but it's still 40 seconds until Echo Slam. Ditchiraw is going to get Hexed to start things out. It's not the best way of initiating. Even Jor-El now going to get turned around upon. Fissure's going to blow him up with the help of an Abyssal Blade, but now it's going to be Ravage on the back lines. Paris and the Nature's Prophet both going to get hit with that one, but Tidehunter can't get anything else out. Paris going to chase forward for J4. No real crits just yet, but he's going to kill off the Shaker before Ditchiraw can do anything to his own team. Now secondary Ravage onto both Paris and Funzy. They're taking quite a bit of damage. Funzy even bought back for this one. He's very quickly going to take another fall. Paris trying to kill off Ditchiraw in the back end, but it won't be enough. Just barely short. Sneeko is going to get bashed in his attempt to escape, and he's going to be brought down. Cheshire Cat also slowed down, and he's also going to take a fall. Power Rangers escape with only their Morphling, and Paris is still standing strong throughout all of this. No buyback on anyone else for Denial. Nature's Prophet dying back in that fight, but they could crack back really hard up on top lane if they want to. Relocate is available from Cryo, and I think it might be worthwhile for him to just ship Paris up to the top lane, just leave him there.
Pretty much. Paris in that last fight, they could do hardly any damage to him. He had, I don't know, a decent amount of lockdown spent his way. 2 Ravages, and Paris still stands strong with the 50% evasion. He avoids Earthshaker and Chant Totem hit. Morphling could hardly do anything to him, and with Satanic, he's completely back up. Unless you chain stun him perfectly, this Phantom Assassin is going to be completely unmanageable, and they are going to drop him up towards top lane. I think he just walks there, but Paris now going to put a little bit of pressure there, and the range barracks are already at crucial range. The Ember Spirit's going to try to stop this, but he gets Abyssal. Chatchlow to fall, that's it.
Man, there's nothing you can do there as anyone, really. I mean, Ember Spirit doesn't even have the luxury of being able to strength morph, something like that. It's going to be J4 to also take a critted dagger, but they take the ranged Raxes, they take the melee, soon to be, at least. Paris is going to distract himself a little bit on the Morphling, but he will take the Raxes in the end. Now 2 sets in favor of Denial. They're pinging out the third. There is no Ravages from the Tidehunter. There is an Echo Slam from the Earthshaker, but I don't know if that's quite going to be enough. Paris has all the tools that he has, except for the Abyssal Blade, which will be up in another 30 seconds, but he could go for this one pretty easily. Treasure Cat's going to jump for it, but Paris is going to jump right over them and kill off the Earthshaker in one hit, because he can. Now who else is next? Hex onto Dichira, and if Morphling goes down, it's all over, and he does go down. It has to be all over now. Funzi is going to trap Suniko in those trees, and he's going to bring him down as well. Treasure Cat, the only survivor, is going to get slowed down by the Stifling Dagger. Shiva's trying to buy himself a little bit of space. Where's the Phantom Assassin? She's going for objectives because she's playing like a good player. Paris is going to kill off the tier 3 towers. Now it's the Raxes, and Power Rangers have got to tap out.
Yeah, that's going to be the end of this series. Is It ends 1-1. It's going to be Denial to take this one out, and we do have more Dota coming up shortly, as Denial are going to be going up against Aftershock and then finishing their series up against My Insanity. This one's pretty straightforward for them. Just a couple of team fights, and the Phantom Assassin was enough. There's a Ravage coming out from the Tidehunter. One more Glory move coming out from Cheshire Cat, but can he do anything? They are going to be focusing heroes on the backlines in the meantime. Witch Doctor channeling his ultimate. It's going to do a lot to Nature's Prophet and Paris. Okay, yeah, I have no idea. J4 is on really low HP. They're focused down Paris. Paris is falling. He won't be able to get the crit dagger kill on the, Earthshaker now inside the well. Paris going to kill off Suniko. One more auto attack is all they need, but the paralyzing gas bouncing at both of them. He's tanking Fountain throughout all of this. He's not going to be able to kill off Suniko. One more crit will do him in. The paralyzing gas is still bouncing, but why isn't the Ancient exploded? If by nothing else, the right click should finish this one off.
Sometimes you just got to go out in a blaze of glory, and well, I mean, that's what Power Rangers tried to do, but it turns out to be Paris to be the one to take the most glory. Diving at that one with Blur is pretty ridiculous, and that's going to mean Denial tie it up 1-1. As Grandis said, guys, it is going to be next set of Denial versus Aftershock coming up soon. Only about, an hour delayed, when hopefully we won't have many other delays in the future, but we've been HeflaTV, Hitbox 1. I'm Mike Loris. I've been joined by Grandis V, and we'll be right back for the third set of the day.